Think about the last time a price went down. Not a sale, not a coupon, not a limited time offer. An actual permanent price reduction on something you buy every week. Take your time, because for most of you, that memory doesn't exist. And that is not bad luck. That is not corporate greed. And that is not something any politician is going to fix. It is a mechanical property of how modern economies are built. Prices have a ratchet. They only turn one way. And once you understand why, you will never read an inflation headline the same way again. Here is something nobody in your economics class ever explained. Prices go up all the time, but they almost never come back down. Not after a recession, not after inflation cools, not after every headline declares that things are returning to normal. The coffee that hit $7 is still $7. The rent that spiked in 2021 never unspiked. And if you ask most economists why, they will give you a very long answer that somehow never actually answers the question. So let's answer it properly. Because once you understand the real mechanism, you will never read an inflation report the same way again. It is time to learn how money works, to find out why prices only climb stairs and never take the elevator back down. Okay, so the official explanation for why prices don't fall is something economists call price stickiness, which sounds like a technical term, but is really just a very polished way of saying nobody wants to take a pay cut. Here is the actual mechanism. Every price you pay for anything is ultimately made up of someone's wages somewhere in the chain. The rent your landlord charges has to cover his mortgage, his property taxes, his maintenance costs, and yes, the wages of whoever he hires to fix the plumbing. The burger at your local diner is made of beef, which costs more when truckers get paid more, cooked by a line cook who got a raise last year, and served in a building with a lease that went up in January. Every single one of those costs went up when inflation hit, and every single one of those people refused to accept a cut when inflation cooled, because that is what humans do. Nobody walks into their boss's office and says, "Inflation is lower now, please reduce my salary." It has never happened. It will never happen. And the entire price structure of the economy is locked in place because of that one very reasonable human instinct. This is the ratchet. It only turns one way. And once you see it everywhere. Now, the number the government publishes every month is the Consumer Price Index, the CPI. And when inflation goes from 9% to 3%, the headlines celebrate like the war is over. But here's the thing most financial media never clarifies. A falling inflation rate does not mean prices fell. It means prices are still rising, just more slowly. The 9% year was not reversed. It was locked in, permanently, as the new floor that the next 3% sits on top of. So when someone tells you inflation is cooling, what they are actually saying is, the ratchet is still turning, just a little less aggressively. Your 2019 dollar is not coming back. That floor is gone forever. Which brings us to the second problem. And it is the one that makes this genuinely worse than it sounds. Even when your wages do eventually catch up to one inflation cycle, the next cycle has already started compounding on top of the last one. Think of it like this. Imagine the price level is a staircase. Every inflation episode adds a step. Your wages are a person trying to climb that staircase. They get there eventually, but by the time they do, 2 more steps have been added at the top. You are always one cycle behind, and the staircase never stops being built. This is why people who did everything right, saved, worked hard, avoided debt, still feel poorer every decade. It is not bad luck. It is the compounding of permanent floors. Now, corporations have found a very elegant way to add invisible steps to that staircase. It is called shrinkflation, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of raising the price on the label, they quietly deliver less for the same price. The bag of chips that used to weigh 16 ounces now weighs 13 ounces at the exact same price. The chocolate bar got thinner. The bottle of detergent that used to last 60 washes now officially lasts 45. Shrinkflation does not show up cleanly in official inflation data because the price tag didn't change. The statistician checks the price, writes it down, moves on. The fact that you're getting less for that price is a quality adjustment problem, and quality adjustments are notoriously difficult to measure. So the ratchet turns, but a significant portion of the turning is completely invisible to the official number that everyone bases their decisions on. Which brings us to the third and most uncomfortable part. The reason prices are sticky going down is the exact same reason wages are sticky going down. Nobody accepts a cut, which means the only real tool policymakers have to cool inflation without crashing the economy is to slow the rate of increase, never to reverse it. A central bank targeting 2% inflation is not targeting price stability. It is targeting a controlled, permanent, annual reduction in the purchasing power of your wages. Every year, your money is supposed to buy 2% less. That is the plan. That is the goal. And in the years when inflation runs hotter than 2%, the gap between the plan and reality compounds on top of every previous gap. There is no mechanism in modern monetary policy designed to give your purchasing power back. Once it is gone, it is gone. Now, none of this means the situation is hopeless. Understanding the ratchet is actually the first step to making decisions that work with it instead of against it. Holding cash savings in a low-interest account means volunteering for the ratchet every single year. The people who beat the ratchet are generally the ones holding assets that inflate with the money supply, not the ones holding the money itself. That is a separate conversation worth having. But the point of this video is simpler. The next time someone tells you inflation is cooling, remember what that actually means. The ratchet didn't reverse. It just slowed down for a quarter. Your 2019 purchasing power is not coming back, and the system was never designed to return it. If you want to understand why the official inflation number consistently feels lower than your actual experience at the grocery store, go and watch this video next. And don't forget to like and subscribe to keep on learning how money works.